What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another video. And as I covered in my Hake's auction review or auction session kind of price guide, I did pick up 3 items from the latest Hake's auction. And one of them was a mint on card, and then I got 2 loose graded figures, pretty good deals on all of them. And one of them goes pretty nicely with my Star Destroyer Commander. This is a 31 back A. And I apologize for all of the glare. This has the BPS solution, or BPS, that Collector Archive Services offer, where on first 21 figures you can get like a sheet, a sheet of acrylic that goes all the way around the blister as well as the card back. So that's why it's got so much glare. But this is a 31 back A Star Destroyer Commander, and it is graded CAS 85, 85, 85, 90 are the subscores. So very nice one. I've had that one in my collection for a while. And here is that 31 back B Sand People that I just picked up. So it was a punched example, no price sticker, but it did have some sticker residue up here in the upper left-hand corner. But this is my first Tusken Raider or Sand People on a card, and I just thought it would be kind of fun to show you that. Pretty decent example. I would say that it might be slightly overgraded, but a pretty good representation there. It is kind of cool to see the Empire Strikes Back logo with a first 12 figure. It just looks, it really pops on there. There's that sticker residue that I talked about. So, you know, I figured that this one would probably go fairly cheap in the auction. And when I couldn't pick up, there was a 65 back B, I believe, Yoda on the Return of the Jedi card, obviously, with a clear blister. It was ungraded, but it was in amazing condition, kind of partially unpunched. The hanger tab was still in there. And I went hard for that one, and I had a hard number in mind as to what my max was. And I was winning the auction, and then after about 5 minutes later, somebody outbid me. So I let it go, and it did end up going for that price right above my offer. But, you know, I think it's a lesson in just being patient and not willing to overpay and things like that. It's hard to do sometimes, as a number of you commented in the Hake's auction kind of recap video. But for me, it was just, that was my number, and if I couldn't get it, I couldn't get it. So I didn't get it. Luckily, there were still some items that were at auction, and the session had not ended for a number of items, including this Sand People. So I went after this one, got it for a pretty good deal. After the buyer's premium, it was about $412, somewhere in there, $420, somewhere in there. I don't remember exactly. The scores on it, 80 for the card, blister 85, figure 85. So no staining or anything like that to the cape, which is nice. I question whether this is an 85 for the blister, because it does have some very light ripples. If I'm being super picky, it might just be a heat sealing issue. You know, some of these ESB card backs, especially 31, and most notably on 48 backs, they just, the seals on some of the Cater Factory examples in particular just had really poor seals, and there were like little pinches and things like that, not only at the bottom of the stem, but sometimes on the top of the card, things like that. This one is, let's see if we can figure out which one it is. Sometimes they have the factory code that's easy to spot. Sometimes I cannot spot it. I don't see it on this one at first blush, but this one is the 32 back B. And for reference as to what the difference is between the 31A and B, you can see the difference here. It's very similar. But the vehicles and playsets that are shown on the back are different. So on the 31 back A, you've got the Snowspeeder, the Falcon, and the Imperial Troop Transport. Whereas on the 32 back B, it's got the Hoth Rebel Command Center kind of playset with that kind of backdrop, and it included 3 baggies. I think that's what that one is. No, this is the Hoth Ice Planet Adventure playset, or action playset, if I just looked on the card. So that's not the Hoth Rebel Command Center. That's the Hoth Ice Planet action set. It also has the Star Destroyer action playset, as well as the Darth Vader carrying case. I think most of us remember those growing up. But otherwise, very, very similar cards, but just a different kind of trio at the bottom there. This one has 2 playsets and the carrying case versus 3 vehicles on the 31 back A. But anyway, it's kind of cool to get a mint on card Sand People. That's the first one in the collection, as I've already mentioned. Next up, I did pick up 2 loose graded figures, and one of them goes nicely with my UKG 85% no country of origin Hoth Luke Skywalker. I picked this one up from Chris W. over on Rogue 5 Toys. He listed it for sale, and I did claim it. Very tough to find the no COO Luke, since these only appeared on Palatoys and Tri-Logos, to my knowledge. So when I saw that one pop up, I went ahead and grabbed it, because there's no way I'm going to be able to ever afford a Tri-Logo Luke. Potentially a Palatoy Return of the Jedi Luke, but the Tri-Logo Lukes are very, very pricey. There's been a couple of examples that have either been listed for sale on Facebook or have actually sold. There was a beautiful example that was very high grade, that was ungraded, that I think sold for $4,000 in the Deal or No Deal group. So it's well outside my budget to get a Tri-Logo mint on card Luke, but this is the figure that would come inside it in theory. But here is the other loose graded figure, and it's just a standard Hong Kong Luke, and this one's graded AFA 85. So you can see that there. And let's see if we can get a close-up there. So Hong Kong COO on this. So this is the most common for the Luke Hoth. There is a no COO, obviously, the Hong Kong. There's also a Paleface PBP, which I just bid on in an auction that CIB had going on eBay, but I finished second on that one. So this one will have to do. You will notice a slight, if I can get it to focus properly, you can see a slight difference in the paint color for the faces. This one's got just a little bit of a darker complexion to Luke's face versus a slightly lighter, more peach color to the no COO version. So it's very faint, but that's the difference on that one. So anyway, just another example. I did also pick up on the Deal or No Deal group an ESB-C baggie for Luke Hoth. That one did come in the Hoth Rebel Command Center playset. So that's a heat-sealed baggie. I've already got that one at Collector Archive Services, so in like 6 or 7 months or however long it takes, we will get that one in. And then the last item I got was a loose graded Han Solo in his Hoth gear. This is the one that was already in my collection. This is a really nice one. This is the Chocolate Legs Spanish Puck version. So you can see how dark and chocolatey, milk chocolatey his legs look there. And it's labeled as such, Puck Chocolate Legs. I do like how UKG tends to use some of the slang terms that we all know and love for a lot of these Spanish Puck figures, like the Death Squad Commander Disco Boots, the Toxic Limbs, the Puck Chocolate Legs. You know, they just kind of use some of those terms that collectors know and love. But this one is graded UKG 80%. And then here's the other one I picked up. This is a no COO AFA 85. And you can see there the 2 dashes on the AFA label, for those unfamiliar, just means it's a no COO. There's no country of origin on the back of the legs there. And this is the dark tan pants version. And when I saw this one for sale, I thought that it was a slightly different shade than the one I have mint on card. But it is, in fact, exactly the same from what I can tell from my Tri-Logo Han Hoth. And here that is. I've had this one in my collection for a number of years. So this is the Tri-Logo. And this one's graded AFA 85. It always, you know, it does say made in Hong Kong, but a lot of these figures are no COO figures. And I think that's the case with this one, because it looks exactly the same to me. It might be slightly darker. It looks, under the camera, it looks slightly darker than the one inside my mint on card. But, you know, when I was holding it in bright light, I couldn't tell the difference. But now that I look at it here, it does look slightly darker than this one. But neither one of these have the skinny thumb. There is also a skinny thumb variation for the Han Hoth. There is also a Spanish PBP Paleface with the purple jacket. It's a very purple color to the jacket. And there's also a Spanish PBP pink face, and like the one that just sold on eBay with CIB. So I bid on that one as well, and also finished second. So anyway, I think at some point my goal for next year would be to get a loose graded Spanish PBP Paleface or the pink face. But anyway, I've got now the Chocolate Legs Spanish Puck, and then the no COO with the dark tan pants. And I can see the difference now that I look at it. It's definitely a slightly darker shade. But I remember when I got this one in hand from Hake's, I kind of held it right next to this one and I couldn't tell the difference. But right now under low light, it's definitely a noticeable difference. So I assume there's also a no COO light tan pants, since AFA denotes on the label dark tan pants. So I assume that there's yet another variation for the no COO with those dark tan or with the light tan pants. But anyway, you know, not a huge pickup, not like a massive kind of rare haul or anything, but I think, you know, for the mint on card and the two lowest graded figures, both AFA 85 that I picked up, I thought I got a really good deal. All in, including shipping and the buyer's premium, it worked out to about $800 or so. So I could live with that, just given how hard it is to find AFA 85s for, especially for Luke Hoth. We've seen some examples go on eBay for quite a bit more than that, so I was very happy to pick that one up. I picked up both of these figures for the exact same price. They were each, after the buyer's premium, each of them was $184, which to me, for AFA 85s, for two of the main heroes and their Hoth gear, that's a number I can live with, and I was very, very happy. But luckily, I was able to kind of sneak in a mint on card to kind of combine shipping on that, and I feel like all the three prices that I paid for those were very fair. So shout out to Hake's Auctions. They did a fantastic job with the packing. It was absolutely perfectly packed, and they shipped everything out very, very quickly. From winning the auction and paying for the auction to having the items in hand, it was 4 days. So I was very, very happy with everything. So that's all I really had for this video. I got a quick slideshow with some close-ups of all three items at the end. Thanks again for watching, and I'll be back soon.